So recently, the Khan family has been in the news. They're the Muslim family that lost their son in Iraq, and now they're campaigning against Trump. But Slate has a really interesting article here because they spoke to the Khizr Khan of the mid-2000s. So the person that was as close to their story, but back in the mid-2000s. And some of you may remember her. Her name is Cindy Sheehan. So her son died in Iraq, and she relentlessly protested Bush and even sat in front of his ranch to get a meeting with him to discuss the war. Bush didn't meet with her, and his response was the following, quote, "This is America. She has a right to her opinion." So as a result of Trump's response to Khizr Khan and how much of a dick he was there, people are looking at what Bush said, and they're saying, oh my God, his response was so presidential and so classy. But they're forgetting that while Bush said that, and by the way, again, didn't meet with her, Fox News and right-wing pundits on a daily basis did a character assassination campaign and a smear campaign against Cindy Sheehan after that. So what does she have to say about the Khans today? Well, she says the following, quote, "I think the Khans' grief is being used by a party that is treacherous. I have all the sympathy in the world for them. Not only sympathy, but empathy. Every Democrat I met with in 2005 said, if you help us win the House, we'll help you end the war. Only one of those two things came true. Back when I was working with them after my son was killed, I was still a Democrat. I still had some kind of illusion that they really cared about these issues the same way I did. But they really only cared about power. I felt really betrayed. But since then, I've realized they didn't betray me. It was my fault for thinking they would do anything else. If you pick up a rattlesnake, don't be surprised if it bites you." What Trump says is rhetorically belligerent, but what Clinton and the Democrats actually did, it killed people. Why was the Khan's son in Iraq? Why was my son in Iraq? All these liberals are going, oh, look, even conservatives may vote for Hillary. And I'm like, yeah, why aren't you ashamed? Good googly moogly. She just power bombed your ass. She just stone cold stunnered your ass. She just sweet chin music'd your ass. She just, I don't know, fill in the blank with more wrestling finishing moves. Devastating points. One after the other after the other. That was a Tyson knockout right there. Will the Democratic Party use Khizr Khan and then do things that are antithetical to what would be good for the Khan family? The answer is yes. And understand, like Khizr Khan was on various news programs yesterday. One of the things he said was, the U.S. wars in the Middle East unleashed chaos in the region. It is what it is, true. So here's a guy who, his son is a hero. If you know the story, you know the details. He saved the people in his unit. It is also true, though, that the leaders are responsible for the shitty decision sending him there in the first place. And what Khizr Khan seems to be arguing is not just, hey, Trump's a bigot and he wants to ban all Muslims from entering the country and that would have stopped me from entering. He also does seem to be arguing the wars were not a good idea in the first place. So, hey, Democratic Party, what's up, dog? What are you going to do? Are you going to pull an Obama? Oh, candidate to change right here. I'm going to change things. And by change, I mean increase the number of interventions. That is what happens. You know that, right? There are more interventions now than there were under Bush. Obama did interventions in 7 different countries. Let's see if we can remember all of them. Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Yemen, Somalia, Syria, and I'm out, but there's one other. Libya. 7 different interventions. Now, some countries it's just drone strikes. Some countries it's traditional airstrikes with fighter jets. Some countries it's a ground invasion. Some countries it's special ops on the ground. But look, the message was clear. We're the candidate of change. We want to get you out of that situation. Instead, they got us involved in more war. And it just hasn't worked. It's just made the situation worse. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think you just, like, nobody fights ISIS. Of course somebody has to fight ISIS. But people in the region can fight ISIS. There are Shia militias right now fighting ISIS. You know, the Kurds are fighting ISIS. So you want to give them humanitarian aid? I'm with you. You want to help them out in as many ways as possible? I'm with you. You want to send U.S. soldiers to fight and die? You want to do a ground invasion? You want to do a drone strike, which gets the wrong people 90% of the time? I'm not with you. That's going to create more jihadists. That's going to make more terrorists. Khizr Khan understands this. Cindy Sheehan understands this. They said, Democratic Party used them. Hey, vote for us. We're going to end the war. Well, she voted for you. She helped you get elected. You didn't end the wars. Don't do the same thing to Khizr Khan. Don't do it. Because in the U.S., we have two political parties with two only slightly different positions on foreign policy. The neocons are of the belief that everywhere balls to the wall invasions, ground invasions. This is neoconservatism. This is Bill Kristol. This is Dick Cheney. This is George W. Bush. Whenever we go in somewhere, overwhelming force, ground troop invasion, occupy. That's their idea. The Democrats' idea, soft imperialism. Now, like I said, in Obama's case, he actually did more interventions than Bush, but it's the soft imperialism. Some drone strikes, some traditional airstrikes, some special ops on the ground. That's what we do. Who's there to represent Cindy Sheehan? Who's there to represent me? Who's there to represent Khizr Khan? With, hey man, don't do the wars? Don't do them? Again, humanitarian aid to the Kurds, to people fighting ISIS, fine. But maybe don't do the wars? Just maybe. Just maybe. No. Democrats will use you and then turn on you. Let's hold them accountable and let's start right now.